Final Fantasy XIII, Lara Croft, and Macbeth. There's a whole lot of shaking going on this week's Oh My God, This Week Was For the Win. Hey all, glad you can make it back for another episode of a little show we like to call Oh My God, This Week Was For the Win. I'm your host, Luke Brown. Thank you. Canned applause. You might remember me from the Collector's Edition show, the New Releases show, or as the motion capture actor used in the Japanese computer-generated recreation of the Tiger Woods accident. Nothing gets my blood flowing like dropping topical references, which will horribly date an internet video, so why don't we get to the good stuff. After years of anticipation and months of hype, we're finally getting close to the release of Final Fantasy XIII in North America. As expected, Square Enix revealed the cover art for the North American version of the game this week, and JRPG fans made a big fucking deal about it. I guess some gamers are creaming their pants over it, but me, I just think it's kind of meh. Yeah, you got this chick and her pink hair, and she's pretty and all. She's got a cool gun sword kind of thing. Wait a second. Gun sword? What is this? Final Fantasy VIII? Anyway, I think Square Enix could have made this cover much more interesting. Why didn't they just use more of the characters from the game on the box? You know, the lady characters. And their underwear. Or how about putting Beyonce on the cover? With Megan Fox. With both of them in their underwear. That shit would fly off store shelves. Oh, I know. Some chicks with guns and swords riding motorcycles and playing football.
Brutal Legend?
In their underwear. Yeah. See what I did there, Square Enix? You guys should be fucking paying me commission. I just saved your game from becoming a colossal failure. Without me... Hey, wait a second. Did you see up that chick's skirt? Never mind. Carry on. Even though the last few Tomb Raider games have been stuck in wash, rinse, repeat mode, that doesn't mean people's affection for the titular character, Lara Croft, has waned. Why, in some cities, Miss Croft's popularity has never been higher. For instance, a list of possible names for a new stretch of road in the UK Village Derby includes Merlin Way, Griffin Way, and Lara Croft Way, to name just a few.
No way.
Voting will be up to the public, which is always a good thing. Wow, those are horrible jokes. Just ask Stephen Colbert. I think it's a cool idea, even if the character in question has absolutely nothing to do with the town itself. I'm curious how Miss Croft's name got even put in consideration for the list with such luminaries as Merlin and the Griffin, but at least the old codgers running the Department of Transportation have got their fingers on the pulse. Either that, or some dodgy old bat traveled back in time to ask someone from 1996 which popular video game character they should name a street after. This news has inspired me to no laughs at that?
Doctor Who?
to the research department here at OMG to inquire around and see what other cities or states tried to name something or another after a video game character. Our search returned some surprising results. Next time you're planning a vacation, you could drive to Rygar, Michigan. Sure, the collapsing automobile industry has left Rygar a shell of its former self, but at least you could say you'd been there. Instead of taking the kids to Disney World, opt for a visit to Bayou Billy, Florida. There's plenty of parking because the streets are vacant since everyone moved away when the mayor decided to change the town's name to honor his son who died trying to finish the game. Or why not take your family to Peter Jackson's King Kong, the movie, the game, Idaho, where you could stare at fields of potatoes wondering where your life went wrong. Start making those plans now. Apparently, Marc Ecko thinks he should still be allowed to develop games. Lucky for us, nobody agrees with him. At one point, the crazed fashion icon had been making plans to adapt Shakespeare's Macbeth into a video game. Of course, the pompous jackass claimed his vision would have made it relevant to people. By that, he means the title would have been an action game in the vein of God of War. Thankfully, the game never made it beyond the pitch. Now, I'm not the most literary guy on the planet. Don't get me wrong, I read. But I certainly don't cry foul every time someone wants to adapt a classic work into a modern tale. This time, though, I have to make an exception to the rule because nobody wants to see a poor man's Baz Luhrmann's Romeo and Juliet where every character has a fucking rhino on their oversized hoodie. Getting Up was probably the least interesting game ever, so I have no reason to think that Ecko's adaptive skills would have been up to the task and given the iconic Macbeth a proper modernization. We likely would have ended up with a combination of Beowulf the game and 50 Cent Blood in the Sand. And while some Gamervision staffers would likely bait into a hat at merely that concept, it's a terrible idea, and Marc Ecko should just go back to doing what he does best. Whatever the hell that is. We'll see you next time.
I really